Education is deeply personal. It is the engine that should power our dreams and unlock our potential. We all have a vested interest in it because it shapes our children, our communities, and our future. It's the process by which we pass on our values and knowledge to the next generation, hoping they will build a better world. Yet so many people feel disconnected from their own education. They feel it was something done to them, not for them. We must ask ourselves a fundamental question. Is the system we have today designed to help every individual flourish, or is it designed for something else entirely? The answer is critical for our collective future. To understand why our schools operate the way they do, we have to look back in time. The modern system of public education is a relatively recent invention. It was largely shaped during the intellectual culture of the Enlightenment and the economic circumstances of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. Before this period, education was mostly for the wealthy elite or for religious purposes. The idea of mass schooling for everyone was revolutionary. It was born from a need for a new kind of workforce and a new kind of citizen, designed to serve the factories and empires of a bygone era. The primary purpose of this new system was not to nurture individual creativity or diverse talents. Its main goal was standardization. Industrial economies needed workers who were media group, students lining up outside a classroom, teacher supervising students writing at their desks at stock at distribute_equally, punctual, obedient, and possessed a basic set of skills in reading, writing, and arithmetic. Schools were structured like factories to produce these workers efficiently. Think about it. Bells ring to signal the start and end of periods. Students are grouped by age like batches of products, and they move along an assembly line of subjects. The system valued conformity over diversity and compliance over curiosity, preparing students for a world of repetitive labor. This model was built on a particular view of intelligence. It prioritized a narrow range of academic abilities, especially logic, reason, and memorization, which were useful for clerical and administrative roles. There was a clear hierarchy of subjects. At the top were media group, teacher pointing to a hierarchy chart on a classroom wall. Students in a classroom focused on math and language lessons at stock at distribute_equally. Mathematics and languages. Then the humanities, and at the very bottom were the arts and physical education. This hierarchy sends a powerful message to children about what society values. It suggests that if your talents lie in dance, music, or making things, they are somehow less important than academic abilities. This industrial model of schooling has been remarkably resilient, surviving almost unchanged into our present day. The world for which this system was designed no longer exists. We are not living in the Industrial Revolution anymore. We are living through a technological revolution that is changing everything at an unprecedented speed. The internet, artificial intelligence, and global connectivity have fundamentally altered how we work, communicate, and live. Information is no longer scarce. It is abundant and instantly accessible to anyone with a smartphone. The skills that were once prized, the ability to memorize facts and perform routine calculations, can now be done faster and more accurately by machines. We are preparing our children for a future we can barely imagine. This rapid transformation has created a massive gap between what schools teach and what the modern world demands. The old system was designed for stability and predictability, but our world is now defined by constant change and uncertainty. The jobs of the future will not be about following instructions on an assembly line. They will require skills that machines cannot easily replicate: creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and emotional intelligence. We are facing complex global challenges, from climate change to social inequality, that cannot be solved with the same thinking that created them. Our education system must adapt to this new reality. Consider the nature of work today. The idea of having a single job for life is becoming a thing of the past. Today's young people are likely to have multiple careers, many of which don't even exist yet. They will need to be adaptable, resilient, and lifelong learners, constantly acquiring new skills to stay relevant. The gig economy and remote work are becoming mainstream, demanding self-discipline, communication skills, and the ability to work in diverse teams across different time zones. The linear career path that school was meant to prepare us for has been replaced by a dynamic, ever-changing journey that requires a completely different mindset. Yet, despite this new reality, our schools continue to operate on the old industrial model. We still group students by age, ring bells, and march them from one disconnected subject to another. We still prioritize standardized testing, which encourages memorization and conformity, rather than deep understanding and innovation. We are essentially trying to prepare children for a dynamic, interconnected, and digital future using the methods of a static, mechanical, and analog past. It is an approach that is not only outdated, but is actively hindering our children's ability to thrive in the 21st century. One of the most damaging consequences of this outdated system is the way it treats creativity. Creativity is not just about painting or playing music. It is the process of having original ideas that have value. It is the cornerstone of innovation, problem-solving, and progress in every field, from science and technology to business and the arts. In a world of accelerating change, the capacity for creative thought is not a luxury. It is an essential survival skill. We are all born with immense creative capacities, but our education system systematically squanders them. Children are naturally curious and imaginative, but school often teaches them that there is only one right answer. This happens because the system is obsessed with standardization and testing. Standardized tests, by their very nature, are designed to measure conformity to a predetermined set of answers. They don't assess creativity, curiosity, or the ability to think differently. Instead, they encourage students and teachers to focus on rote learning and teaching to the test. This creates a culture of compliance where risk-taking is discouraged and mistakes are stigmatized as failure. But true learning and innovation can only happen when we are willing to experiment, to be wrong, and to try again. We are educating people out of their creative capacities. Think about the structure of the school day. It is fragmented into short, separate blocks of time for different subjects. A student might spend 45 minutes on mathematics, then a bell rings, and they move on to history, leaving behind any deep thought or engagement. This separation of disciplines is artificial. In the real world, problems are not neatly divided into subject categories. Solving complex challenges requires interdisciplinary thinking, the ability to connect ideas from different fields. Our schools actively discourage this kind of thinking by keeping knowledge locked in separate academic silos, preventing students from seeing the rich connections between them. The result is a system that fails to engage the whole student. We focus on the head and often neglect the body, the heart, and the spirit. We value academic intelligence over all other forms of intelligence: kinesthetic, artistic, interpersonal, and emotional. A child who is a brilliant dancer or a gifted musician may feel like a failure in a system that only values their test scores in algebra. By doing this, we are not only failing individual children by ignoring their unique talents, but we are also impoverishing our society by suppressing the diverse skills we desperately need to navigate our future. So what is the alternative? We need to move away from the industrial model of education and towards a model that is more organic and human-centered. This means shifting the focus from standardization to personalization. Education should be a bespoke process that recognizes and nurtures the unique talents, passions, and learning styles of every single child. This involves creating a rich and varied curriculum that gives equal weight to the arts, humanities, sciences, and physical education. It means fostering an environment where students are encouraged to ask questions, explore their interests, and collaborate on meaningful projects. Schools could become vibrant hubs of creativity and inquiry. Instead of rigid rows of desks, classrooms could be flexible, collaborative spaces. The timetable could be more fluid, allowing for deep dives into project-based learning where students tackle real-world problems. For example, a project on clean water could involve science, geography, ethics, and even art and design. Teachers would act more like mentors and facilitators than lecturers, guiding students on their learning journeys rather than just delivering information. The goal would be to cultivate curiosity and a lifelong love of learning, not just to pass the next test. Technology can be a powerful ally in this transformation, but only if we use it wisely. It shouldn't just be for digitizing old practices, like using electronic whiteboards instead of chalkboards. Instead, technology can be used to personalize learning, providing students with access to a world of information and connecting them with experts and peers globally. It can free up teachers from administrative tasks to spend more time mentoring students. It can enable new forms of creative expression and collaboration, preparing students for a digitally integrated world in a way that feels natural and empowering for them. Ultimately, changing education is not just about improving test scores, it is a moral imperative. Our children are living in the most stimulating period in the history of the Earth. They are inheriting a world of immense challenges and extraordinary possibilities. We owe it to them to provide an education that awakens their creativity, nurtures their diverse talents, and equips them with the resilience and imagination they will need to create their own future. The old system was built for a world that is gone. It is time to build a new one, grounded in the belief that the richest resource we have is human imagination